Everyone needs a hobby, and for John Travolta, it's flying planes. As such, the trained pilot has a large collection of jets. Good thing he has an estimated net worth of around $250 million to fund this pleasure. Looking to make his hobby more accessible, he ended up buying a mansion that contains its own airport. Today, we're going to look at this incredible house and the gated community it sits on. We'll see just how valuable both are. On top of this, we'll examine some of the airplanes in Travolta's hangar and the stories behind them, all of which are worth many millions. So let's get started. John Travolta's Florida home is based at the estate of Jumbolair Airport near the city of Ocala. The whole area is 550 acres in size. For comparison, that can fit 5 Vatican cities since it's around 110 acres. In 2019, the average cost of an acre in Florida was $28,961. However, this takes into account expensive land costs in cities such as Miami, as well as cheaper rural areas. As such, with this average, the Jumbolair Airport land has a valuation of just under $16 million. The biggest selling point of this exclusive gated community is to allow aviation fans easy access to a private airport. The main runway is 7,550 feet long, paved and lighted, making it America's longest private runway. It's even able to accommodate large airplanes such as the Boeing 737. All of the 38 residential lots are fly-ins, so they have access to the large airstrip via smaller taxiways. Back in 1980, the estate was a ranch that was owned by socialite and equestrian Muriel Vanderbilt. Then along came the founder of fitness company Nautilus, Arthur Jones, who purchased the area. He soon began incorporating his love of aviation to the estate. According to reports, the massive airstrip is said to have cost around $6 million to create. In 1984, the property even became a haven for African wildlife. Elephants, crocodiles, gorillas, and more all called it home for a time. By 1989, Arthur Jones divorced from his wife Terry. She then began turning the estate into the fly-in community that it is today. In 2019, news broke that the whole area was going on the market. On top of the 550 acres, the package deal included the 5-bedroom, 7,686 square foot mansion that was created for Muriel Vanderbilt. It has a swimming pool and a fitness center filled with original Nautilus equipment. Also in the deal is an 8,735 square foot conference center or banquet hall that has a seating space for 400 people, a collection of warehouses that amounts to 90,000 square feet, as well as, at the time, 17 unsold estate lots with runway access and 30 income-producing residential lots. All of this had an original asking price of $10.5 million. Travolta and his late wife Kelly Preston were one of the first residents to buy in at the Jumbolair Airport estate back in 2001. For 8 years, Travolta had been looking for a place that could easily cope with his planes. In the end, the couple purchased around 9.5 acres altogether. This is reported to have cost them $3.5 million at the time. With inflation, that's around $5.2 million today. Soon after, Travolta and Preston got to work on building an 8,900 square foot mansion. Travolta then had the taxiway extended right to his front door. The taxiway splits into 2 roads around the property, both of which lead to separate parking bays for planes. In an article with Architectural Digest in 2004, Preston stated, quote, "It was always John's dream to have planes in his front yard, to practically be able to pull up to the house, so that when you wanted to go to dinner, all you'd have to do was step out the door, get on a plane, and whisk off." End quote. The house was designed to allow views of their parked planes no matter what room of the house they're standing in. As such, the property is formed of concrete and a lot of glass. The house has 6 bedrooms altogether and 2 kitchens. One kitchen for more serious cooking and the other for lighter, simpler concoctions. These kitchens are then surrounded by 3 dining areas. The house was designed by architect Dana Smith and took 2 years to fully construct. Outside, there's an in-ground swimming pool with a hot tub attached. According to experts, adding a hot tub during construction of the pool can add an extra $10,000. Near the pool is a cabana built specifically for the adults. Travolta wanted to use it as a dancing space, so there's a large area that can be cleared off for such a thing. There's also a bar with seating. Travolta describes it as a cabana. However, since it has permanent walls, it could be a pool house. According to experts, a cabana can cost up to $5,000 to build, while a pool house can be as much as $180,000. The mansion is said to even have a golf course. On average, it can cost between $5,000 and $10,000 per hole for smaller courses. The house also has space for 16 cars altogether. John Travolta has owned loads of planes throughout his flight passion. One of his most famous is the Boeing 707-138B. The original 707 model had a cost of $4.3 million in 1955. Today, that's around $42.2 million. Travolta's plane was previously operated by Australian airliner Qantas from 1964. By 1968, it was converted from being a passenger plane for private use. According to reports, it was even owned by legendary Rat Pack member Frank Sinatra. By 1998, the plane ended up with Travolta. During 2002, Travolta even became a goodwill ambassador for Qantas. As part of this relationship, Qantas would maintain the plane for him as he flew their brand across the globe. Originally, the jet could hold around 140 passengers. Travolta changed the interior to make it more luxurious. As such, there's space for 25 people traveling on board. Other features include a master bedroom with an ensuite, a kitchen, a dining room, and a living room. During 2017, it was announced that Travolta was donating his jet to the Historical Aircraft Restoration Society in Australia. It was originally believed that the trip to get the plane to the museum was going to cost $3 million Australian dollars, which is about 2.3 million American dollars. Another plane in the Grease actor's arsenal is the Bombardier Challenger 601. It was first announced that he bought this plane in 2011. At the time, this made it his 11th jet. Travolta also became an ambassador for the Canadian plane manufacturers Bombardier in that same year. During an interview with Business Jet Traveler, Travolta was asked what attracted him to this model. He replied, quote, "It uses Canada Air technology, which has evolved to an extraordinary degree since the 1970s." End quote. He also said that as he travels with his family regularly, a plane needs to be comfortable in the cabin. According to reports, a Bombardier Challenger 601 can cost as much as $21.4 million to purchase. As for renting, the 601 can cost up to $6,800 per hour, according to some charter sites. One of Travolta's most famous planes was the Gulfstream II. It's well known due to a near-terrible accident almost 3 decades ago. In 1992, Travolta was flying the jet at 400 miles per hour during the night from Florida to Maine. But disaster struck just above the Washington skies. 12,000 feet up, the Gulfstream II suffered complete electrical failure. With no radio working, air traffic control couldn't speak to Travolta as he fought to pilot the plane. Air control requested a commercial plane nearby with 182 passengers to see if they could spot the falling plane. By then, the two planes only missed each other by 2 miles. Travolta managed to land the jet with no injuries. At the time, the Gulfstream II was worth around $5 million. In 2012, Travolta decided to donate the fabled Gulfstream to the Georgia Aviation Hall of Fame. Travolta did this in memory of his son Jet, whom he lost in 2009. Final fun fact finish. 2019 saw the opening of one of the most expensive airports of all time, the Beijing Daxing International Airport in China. Construction costs alone amounted to 120 billion Chinese yuan, which is around 18.3 billion American dollars. On top of that, various projects in and around the airport came to 330 billion yuan, or around 50.4 billion US dollars, giving us a grand total of 450 billion yuan, or $68.7 billion.